Thanks for joining Sapelo Nerds, a coastal science podcast. I'm your host, Corinne.
And I'm your host, Brittany. And we work at the National Estuarine Research Reserve, or NER, on Sapelo Island, a Georgia barrier island. Now, you may have noticed a lot of birds visiting your feeders recently. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most fascinating aspects of bird evolution: beaks.
That's right, Brittany. During the winter, backyard bird feeders become vital sources of food for many species struggling to find sustenance in the cold. Birds like chickadees, cardinals, nuthatches, and woodpeckers frequently visit feeders stocked with sunflower seeds, suet, and peanuts to maintain their energy levels. Watching these birds flit between branches and feeders adds life to the landscape, and providing food helps support them through harsh weather.
These birds are relying on the food supply that many feeders provide. That's why it's important to keep your feeders clean. You should be cleaning them at least once a week. And yeah, I know, I don't exactly do that either. But at least every 2 weeks, you should be rinsing it with a dilute bleach bath to help keep bird flu levels down. It's a pretty serious thing. And keeping feeders clean and stocked ensures a steady food supply for these feathered visitors when natural resources are scarce. And as we all know, bird beaks and wings have evolved over millions of years to adapt to their very specific environment and feeding habitats.
And here in coastal Georgia, we have some pretty unique bird species with some equally unique beak and wing adaptations.
Now, one of the most unique birds we join a lot of U's and wings, beak, unique, beak. One of the most unique birds are also some of the most common. The vulture has such specialized adaptations that researchers love to study this bird. There have been several studies conducted to analyze how vultures are able to eat roadkill and not get severe bacterial tummy upset. And several researchers from China have used vultures as a model for testing molecular adaptations of dietary specialization in birds. And U.S. researchers are studying the possibility of these adaptations being used to help patients with gut-related diseases like Crohn's and IBS.
And vultures get a bad rap, but they are actually very significant to helping keep our ecosystem clean and providing a key step in the food chain, especially in coastal Georgia. Vultures have many adaptations that help them survive and eat carrion, or dead animals, including their keen senses, strong beaks, and broad wings.
Vultures have excellent eyesight to spot food from great heights, and some vultures, like the turkey vulture, have a very well-developed sense of smell. This allows them to detect carcasses from miles away, thanks to a large olfactory system, which is the biggest of any bird.
Vultures also have strong, hooked beaks that tear through tough skin and flesh with wide nostrils that allow them to breathe while their heads are inside carcasses. They also have large wingspans that allow them to soar effortlessly for hours while burning up very little energy. Vultures' specialized hemoglobin in their blood allows them to absorb oxygen efficiently, even at great heights.
And vultures' bare heads are adapted to keep them clean and healthy, but have also been studied for their ability to disperse heat. The lack of feathers preventing food from sticking, because when a vulture eats, it sticks its entire head into a carcass. And blood and goop would get stuck in the feathers on top of the head otherwise.
Gross.
Yeah. And they also have a third eyelid, which protects their eyes from blood and flesh. But to prevent their exposed heads from getting either too warm or too cold, the thing I was talking about is that vultures have blood vessels under their skin that brings blood to the surface to radiate heat away, and have this erect ring of feathers around their necks called a ruff that acts like a scarf to keep them warm when they're circling in the sky.
They're so fashionable. But it is a vulture's stomach acid which kills bacteria and pathogens in dead food that scientists study the most. Vultures have the strongest gastric acid in the animal kingdom. With a pH of just over 0, it's stronger than battery acid, and 100 times stronger than our stomach acid, which is only a pH of 2. The powerful gizzard gravy kills any anthrax, botulism, and other bacteria the birds swallow while feeding from carcasses.
And while we're talking about specialized feeding adaptations in birds, one of the most famous examples of this is the pelican. While not a backyard bird you'd see at a feeder, here on Sapelo, it's kind of our backyard bird. These birds are a common sight around winter months out in our estuaries. They have enormous beaks that they use to scoop up fish from the water. It's like they have a built-in fishing net. Pelicans have large, pouched bills that are uniquely adapted for catching fish. Their lower bill expands to create a scoop-like net, allowing them to plunge into the water and trap fish before tilting their heads up to drain the excess water and swallow their catch whole. Brown pelicans, for example, dive from the air to snatch fish near the surface, while white pelicans work together to herd fish into shallow waters before scooping them up together. White pelicans have long, flat bills, very similar to brown pelicans, that they use to scoop up fish while actively swimming in a group, which is known as cooperative feeding. Their specialized beaks make them highly effective fishers, enabling them to thrive in our coastal habitat.
And speaking of fishing, let's not forget about the magnificent osprey. These birds have sharp, curved talons that they use to catch fish, but they also have a unique wing shape that allows them to hover in place over the water, waiting for their prey to swim by. Ospreys have long, narrow wings with a distinct bend at the wrist, allowing them to hover over water and dive feet first to catch fish. Their wings are also designed for lift and maneuverability, helping them recover from deep plunges. Their legs are specially adapted for fishing, with reversible outer toes and sharp, curved talons that provide a powerful grip on slippery prey. The rough, spiny pads on their feet, called spicules, help them securely hold on to fish as they fly.
And, well, when it comes to ospreys, you kind of have to mention the ospreys and bald eagles' tense relationship.
They don't get along well.
No. Talk about the Hatfields and the McCoys. We have the ospreys and the eagles here on the coastal Georgia. Because while ospreys are skilled fishers, catching about 1 in every 3 fish they dive for, bald eagles are a little less skilled, catching about 1 in every 16 fish. Now, the bald eagles have realized that they are not as skilled due to their heavier frame, so they have collectively evolved a rather sneaky trait. Eagles will frequently steal an osprey's catch through a behavior called kleptoparasitism.
Kleptoparasitism. All right.
Yes.
You did pretty good with that one. That was a big word.
Very easy word. Kleptoparasitism. Eagles will chase ospreys in midair, sometimes with their mates, to force the osprey to drop their fish, which the eagle then swoops down to grab. This rivalry plays out often in shared habitats, with eagles using their size and dominance to take advantage of the osprey's hard-earned meals.
And I don't know if you've ever heard an osprey or a bald eagle, but it tends to be a really noisy event when they're fighting over these fish. And wasn't that one of the reasons that Benjamin Franklin famously disliked the idea of the bald eagle as the American symbol?
Yeah, he wrote a letter to his daughter stating that the eagle was of bad moral character and too lazy to fish for himself. It is actually a myth that he supported a turkey instead. That was more of a satirical comparison to the bald eagle, with him saying that the turkey would be just as likely than saying turkeys are vain and silly and therefore equally a good American symbol.
Vain, silly, and fish stealers? Not a lot of good choices out there for a country to choose from in birds.
Well, if I had to choose a new national bird, I think I would go with the peregrine falcon. A bird known for its speed, precision, and remarkable comeback from the brink of extinction. As the fastest animal on Earth, capable of reaching speeds over 240 miles per hour in a dive, the peregrine symbols innovation, progress, and resilience.
That sounds pretty classical American.
Yeah.
What is super interesting about the peregrine falcon, too, is their powerful legs and feet adapted for high-speed hunting in mid-air. Their strong, compact muscles allow them to deliver explosive bursts of speed and precise control while diving. When striking prey, they use their feet like a fist, balled up to deliver a stunning blow rather than grabbing immediately. This punch can knock birds out of the air or disable them, making it easier for the falcon to circle back and grab its meal with sharp talons. Their specialized notched beak then helps them quickly dispatch prey by severing the spinal cord.
Forget Rocky! Imagine the peregrine falcon punches. Just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I don't think you should quit your day job. Not quite up to falcon level boxing speeds.
Ouch! Well, I guess I'll have to keep practicing. Well, like the eagle, the peregrine falcon's success from pesticide-related population decline reflects our country's growing commitment to conservation in the 70s, and taking environmental responsibility and acting quickly to save a species, something we can all learn from today with declining species diversity nationwide.
Yeah, both eagle and falcon eggs were hit with sharp population declines since their eggs were severely impacted by the pesticide DDT, which was widely used in the mid-20th century. When birds of prey like peregrine falcons and bald eagles consumed contaminated fish and other prey, DDT accumulated in their bodies, causing their eggshells to become dangerously thin. As a result, many eggs cracked under the weight of incubating parents, leading to rapid population declines, near the brink of extinction. The banning of DDT in the United States in 1972 played a crucial role in the recovery of these species, allowing their populations to rebound through conservation efforts and captive breeding programs.
But we've talked a lot about raptors whenever we've discussed adaptations, but backyard birds exhibit a great variety of wing and beak adaptations that help them thrive in different environments. For example, finches have cone-shaped beaks, perfect for cracking smaller seeds, while cardinals and grosbeaks have stout, strong beaks designed for crushing larger seeds like sunflowers. Their wings also vary to match their lifestyle. Robins and sparrows have broad, rounded wings for maneuverability in dense foliage, while sparrows possess long, pointed wings that allow for fast, acrobatic flight in open spaces. These adaptations have enabled each species to find food and shelter efficiently, making them successful in backyard habitats.
And what about the wading birds, Brittany? These birds have long, slender beaks that they use to spear fish and other aquatic prey. They also tend to have long legs that allow them to wade in shallow water without getting their feathers wet.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Corinne, let's not forget about the ibis.
The ibis.
The ibis.
The ibis?
The ibis. These birds have long, curved beaks that they use to probe in the mud for insects and other small prey. The white ibis here in coastal Georgia have unique wing shape that allows them to fly long distances without using too much energy.
Well, you can't talk about wading birds and probing without discussing the unique roseate spoonbill.
Oh, my favorite of the wading birds! Roseate spoonbills are striking wading birds known for their vibrant pink plumage and distinct spoon-shaped bills. Found in coastal and wetland habitats across the southeastern United States, they use their bills to shift through shallow waters, sweeping side to side to catch small fish, crustaceans, and aquatic insects. Their colorful feathers come from the pigments they found in the food they eat, giving them a brilliant pink hue. These birds are often seen in large flocks, adding a stunning splash of color to the landscape, especially during their breeding season when their plumage becomes even more vibrant.
The roseate spoonbill's unique spoon-shaped bill is perfectly adapted for foraging in shallow waters. The bill's broad, flat shape allows the bird to sweep it from side to side in a semicircular motion, efficiently stirring up mud and water to find small fish, crustaceans, and other aquatic prey. This specialized feeding technique is called tidal foraging. The bill's sensitivity is enhanced by numerous tactile nerve endings, allowing the spoonbill to detect prey even in murky waters. This unique adaptation helps the bird thrive in coastal and wetland habitats where food can be hidden beneath the water's murky surface.
And other birds have adapted to murky waters of the coastal area, including yellowlegs. There are two species, the greater yellowlegs and the lesser yellowlegs, both known for their long, slender yellow legs, obviously, that help them wade through shallow waters in search of food. These bright yellow legs are not just visually striking, but they're also functional, allowing the bird to navigate marshy or muddy environments with ease. The long legs enable them to probe deeper into the water to catch fish, insects, and invertebrates, which are essential for their diet. The yellow color of their legs is a key identifying characteristic and adds to their graceful, striking appearance as they move through the wetland habitats.
You know, Brittany, it's amazing to think about how these adaptations have developed over millions of years through the process of natural selection. Natural selection plays a crucial role in the breeding of birds with the best adaptations for survival in their environments.
Yeah, and people often get confused when we talk about natural selection, but basically it's just traits passed down that helps those animals survive. These special traits evolved through natural selection as a genetic variation or sometimes a birth defect that became more prevalent in a certain population due to factors such as genetic drift, sexual selection, and regional environmental conditions that may have favored this genetic variation.
Exactly. Birds with traits that improve their ability to find food, avoid predators, or cope with climate conditions are more likely to survive and reproduce, and typically females will select males that are the strongest or have a competitive advantage due to these special genetic traits. For example, a bird with a beak shape suited to its specific diet, like the finch with a strong conical beak for cracking seeds, is more likely to thrive and pass on those traits to its offspring. Over time, these advantageous adaptations become more common in the population, as birds with the best traits are more successful in reproducing, leading to better adapted generations. This process ensures that the species continues to maintain traits that enhance survival in its specific habitat. And here in coastal Georgia, we're lucky enough to be able to witness these birds in action every day.
Yep, and you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. So if you're a bird nerd like us, make sure to get out there and enjoy all the unique and fascinating bird species that call coastal Georgia home. You can contact your local Audubon or visit the Colonial Bird Trail to see stops that highlight our unique birds.
And you know, that reminds me, I was out at Tybee the other day and witnessed a bunch of pelicans being arrested.
Arrested? You mean they were being tagged?
No, they were being arrested because they had a huge bill and refused to pay it.
Say, Corinne, what's the scientific name for an owl's beak?
I don't know. Does anybody know?
Who knows?
I get it.
Yeah. And so a vulture walks onto an airplane dragging some mangled-looking roadkill in its beak. And the stewardess looks in a disgust and says, "Ugh, would you prefer to put that in the checked luggage?" And the vulture says, "No thanks, it's carry-on." Ah!
For more information about any of the topics we covered today, or to submit your question that may be featured in our upcoming episodes, please email us at signer.socials@gmail.com. That's SINERR.socials@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening to Sapelo Nerds, a coastal science podcast brought to you by the Sapelo Island National Estuarine Research Reserve. Please check back for more episodes released on the 1st and the 15th of each month.
And that's the Sapelo Sound.